Hello and welcome to Who Are You, a reasonably well-done sci-fi watchcast hosted by two friends who are currently watching 2004's Battlestar Galactica. I'm Laura.
I'm Xhafer. Hey, that's the first time you did the intro. The new intro. Hey!
It is the first time I did the intro. Yeah,
Yay.
I like it.
Yeah.
It'll get more natural. I was definitely reading a script, but it'll get better.
I too was reading the script, so no worries there.
Yeah,
new intro. Feels good. New pod feels good. We got our new pod shoes on for the new year, This is episode 4 of our new show coverage, but it's new year, new us. Big vibes.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and today we're watching Battlestar Galactica Season 3, Episode 9, Unfinished Business.
Oh no.
Do you know this episode by name, Xhafer?
Unfinished Business, Season 3, Episode 9. Which one is that? How do you know? You should know that. How do you know that?
So I Googled it for this joke because I knew there was a boxing episode, and today we are recording on Boxing Day.
That's right. We are recording on Boxing Day, and that is the boxing episode. Okay.
Yeah, it was just a jokey joke. I didn't look at anything about the episode. I just Googled Battlestar Galactica boxing.
All you need to know is that there's boxing. No, we're recording on Boxing Day. Yesterday was Christmas.
Mm-hmm.
That's fun. It's good times. We're just talking about our family travels and traditions.
Yeah, I hope everyone had a nice holiday of any sort here in December.
Yeah, this airs on New Year's Day, which means as you're listening to this, I am hungover. Probably not, actually. I haven't had a hangover in a long time. At least one I didn't. Let me correct that. Anytime I've earned a hangover, I've managed to escape. I've had little hangovers. The curse of being on the precipice of 40 is you'll have 3 glasses of wine and wake up with a hangover, and you didn't even get loaded. And then sometimes they'll be like, oh, it's drinking heavy with the boys tonight, and I just wake up and feel fine. So
yeah, it's those electrolytes. Gotta get those electrolytes.
100% Gatorades in the fridge. Can't mess around with that. Maybe I'm underestimating the little drink. Maybe that's my problem.
I hope everyone has a lovely new year. Who knows what 2025 is going to bring us. We can all hang on tight.
Yeah. We have some life changes. I mean, you got your second semester of school coming up. I will be, when this airs, I will be starting a new job in a couple of days. As this records, I am finishing my last day of work at my current employer. So, big changes and movements.
Big congrats to all.
Yeah. Hope everyone has an excellent new year. I hope your new year starts better than this episode starts for the crew of the Galactica, because damn, Indeed. It's a bad day.
Yeah. So we open this episode, season 1, episode 2, Water, with a little last time on. I think, are we just going to get last times on?
I believe so.
For this show?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. It's helpful. I wrote down when I was watching this question, I was just wondering if all the Sharons are programmed to think they're human, because it seems like we know of 2 that seem to think they're human. I don't know.
Do they?
Well, it seems like Battlestar Sharon thinks she's human.
Yeah.
Don't
so that's
100% know about Caprica Sharon.
So I'm gonna try and make things a little easier here. Why don't we refer to Battlestar Sharon by her call sign Boomer?
Okay, sure.
And then Caprica Sharon is just Sharon for now.
Okay. Yeah. Good call.
Okay.
So I thought when we opened this episode after our last time on, where we have Boomer dripping wet, I thought it was some kind of lab.
Mm-hmm.
I thought this was Sharon on Caprica, because when we saw them last, it was like pouring rain.
Yeah.
And so I thought that they had just like found something and she was dripping wet from that. And it took me a little bit to like catch up to what we were doing.
They misled you. One might say Ron Moore has a plan. Yeah. So Boomer is just like absolutely drenched. Sees her bag next to her, opens it, finds a towel, a uniform, and a bomb.
Oh my God, JC, a bomb!
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and she freaks out about this bomb and disarms it.
Mm-hmm. She runs out and has a brief conversation with Callie, and Callie lets her know that more time has passed than she has thought. She thinks it's the night before, and Callie's all like, it's the morning, what are you talking about? And Shara's just like, fuck.
Yeah, and she goes to look at the weapons locker.
Mm-hmm.
She discovers there are a whole bunch of G4 detonators missing, and I guess that was what she had in her bag, was a G4 detonator.
Yeah. It's like
and so
C4.
she puts that one back, but
yeah. 6 bombs are missing to theme.
Yeah. Beeping ominously,
Mm-hmm.
one might say.
I would say ominous is the best word for those bombs.
Definitely. When we come back from theme, Colonel Ty, he's freaking out about Colonial 1 showing up.
Yeah.
And I guess he can't, like, get his dress uniform together or whatever. And then he appears to also be meticulously rationing his booze stash, yes?
Yeah, he's counting the shots. He's counting the fingers of whiskey he's got left.
Yeah.
Fingers of whiskey, of course, being a actual measurement of whiskey.
Right.
It's a little different for everyone, but...
Maybe because we all have different finger sizes?
Yes, 100%.
Yeah. No, not a great situation for Colonel Ty. I do wonder now. I bet it's going to come up that, like, how much booze is left in this fleet. Like,
it's a thing, and it is addressed, and there will be stills. I was going to
say there's got to be some ship that, like, puts together a still. Yeah.
So.
He can't be the only functional alcoholic left in a population of 40-something thousand humans.
Not when there's this much military involved.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we see Lee, who's having a PTSD flashback to destroying the Olympic carrier. He goes to talk to his dad about it, and he's like, son, that was 3 fucking days ago. Give it up.
Yeah, Daddy is not interested in hearing about your guilt and sadness.
Yeah. Your guilt? It's my guilt. Fuck off. I gave the order.
Gosh. Oh, I really want these two to heal a little bit.
Well, anyways. Lee is concerned with his accountability in things here, but
yeah,
really can't be bothered.
Not very satisfying here at the beginning. I think the conversation with Rosalind at the end is a little more satisfying.
Yeah.
But
speaking of which, she comes on board for some ceremonial shit while one of the ships in the fleet docks off to exchange its gray and black tanks for clean water.
Uh-huh. We get some important world building here about Galactica has these water recyclers that can make water clean,
mm-hmm.
and so we can reuse it.
Super efficient.
Yeah. But a lot of our smaller ships don't have that capability, so they have to, like, exchange their water
mm-hmm.
with Galactica.
Let Galactica's systems clean all the water for the fleet. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
We even get some lip service to, this won't be a problem for years.
Oh, why? No one should ever say those things. Yeah.
Was a mistake.
So Rosalind's whole deal about following this pomp and circumstance
mm-hmm.
that Adama is putting on, she's basically saying, well, I can tell this man needs this to feel more comfortable, so I'll do it.
Yeah.
But it's annoying, you know?
Mm-hmm.
And she does make a comment about only having 3 outfits left to her name. And I was like, oh man, I feel that. Like,
yeah,
that's hard. And she's got to do the presidential song and dance all the time. Like, she doesn't want to do this with Adama. Like, she wants to just get work done. But there's a fleet out there that needs her to do presidential song and dance,
mm-hmm.
right? Like, the people are going to need it at points. And she has 3 pantsuits to do it in.
Right. I wonder if, like, obviously this is like, I don't think that this was entirely the reason for this, but do you think in an era of TV where particularly female characters weren't allowed to wear the same outfit multiple shows?
Oh, yeah.
That this was...
They're making an excuse
They're making
to
an
the
excuse
audience
to save some budget money here and just keep her recycling the same 3?
Yeah, and like she doesn't have to be a fashionista, you guys. She's one of the last humans alive. Like seriously. Yeah, maybe part of it is like telling the audience like chill and give this woman a break.
Yeah.
Very interesting.
Yeah. Sharon tells the chief about the missing detonators, and he's going to go to the Master at Arms about it. She's not comfortable with this, but she does trust Tyrell.
I get it that she's like a Cylon.
Yeah.
And she's programmed to like self-preserve because it seems like she doesn't know. She really feels like she doesn't know she's a Cylon. But there's a thing in her that's going self-preserve, self-preserve, self-preserve.
It's interesting, especially at the end of this episode where like it seems like she has to notice the bomb a couple of times to be able to see it.
Uh-huh.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. It seems like some things are not connecting all the way. And you know, you just want her to shut up and be like, "Yeah, no, there's protocol. We have to follow protocol. Master of Arms has to know." But she's like begging Tyrell not to tell.
Yeah.
And it's like, "Stop. This is bad internal controls for one thing."
Yeah. At the docking ceremony or whatever, Lee and Rosalind talk, and we learn that Adama hates this stuff too. He just wants Laura to feel like the president. Like the president deserves this, so the president gets it.
Uh-huh.
And he's just doing it to make her feel more comfortable.
Yeah, Apollo's like, "Hey, I just want you to know, like, Dad is trying to show you that you're really the president, that he's not a threat. Like,
he respects you. He's gonna do the thing. You're in charge. You figure it out."
Yeah. Like he's putting on the dog and pony show just to make this all real and official. Because here's one thing that I suspect this will come up, or you know, if it doesn't, it could naturally come up, is that like rifts happen and people disagree with the decisions Rosalind makes, and who are they going to go to next? They're going to go to Adama and try to convince him that he should be running things, and he should be running them his way and their way, and things would be better. And you could get like a fracturing of this remaining humanity. And so he's like trying to put on the pomp and circumstance to show that like, no, we are a united front.
Yeah.
So that's appreciated, at least. Like the effort is
it's important.
Yeah.
So after Lee and Rosalind are talking for a few minutes about their pop and circumstance and who it's actually for and why they're actually bothering, the bombs that were planted that we saw ominously before the theme do go off, venting all of the water into space.
Yeah.
Bad day.
This is one that you could have like cut this differently and ended the cold open with this, but I think it's much more suspenseful to have the ticking theme.
Let us languish in the suspense for a couple minutes. You know.
Yeah.
And this is a show that's not afraid to do that. That's something that we will see a number of times. Is they will. I mean, the show states its intentions early on by giving you those quick little hits of what's going to happen, those flashes of what to expect, and it just lets you languish knowing that that's what's coming. Because there's some stuff you'll see in those where you'll be all like, "Wait, was that?" And you know, it gets crazy. The show gets crazy.
Yeah, I can feel it. Like so far, every ending of an episode has been like, "Where's the next one?"
Yeah,
like very cliffhanger.
Yeah, I mean, we've destroyed a civilian carrier that may or may not have been being tracked by the Cylons and may or may not have been loaded with nukes, and we vented all of the water into space. We're 2 episodes in, and 2 things that in any other show would easily be the catastrophe of the season, if not the entire show, have happened.
Yeah.
And this isn't even close to how crazy this shit gets. This is nothing.
Oh, no. No, that ship was definitely at least being tracked by the Cylons. I stand on that hill, and I'll die there.
I honestly don't think it was. No, I think they wanted to see if the humans would do it. And it didn't matter which ship it was. It could have been any ship.
I don't know. I don't buy it.
Anyways.
Yeah. Okay. Anyway, we go to the war room.
Yeah.
The staff meeting.
Our senior staff
whatever.
meeting.
Yeah. Tyrell and his team are looking. I think they're actually going in the tanks.
Yeah.
Right? They've got their EVA suits on and.
Yeah, they're going in. They're going to check out the damage. I mean, you got to go in to repair those things, I imagine. But also, an investigation's going to be a lot easier to do from both sides. They've got a raptor out there taking a peek, too.
Yep. So they're ordering rationing because we have a 60% loss of water. Is that right?
It's something like that, yeah. It
is a big percent.
They went from having to not worry about water for years to water is a problem before the end of this week.
Immediately, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
President Roslin pushes Gaeta. She wants a guess at the cause.
Mm-hmm.
I think everybody in this room knows, right? We know this is sabotage.
Yeah.
But Gaeta tries to bullshit a cause that isn't sabotage to keep everyone calm for a minute because we don't have the evidence yet.
Yeah. Gaeta's got a full on, he's at a podium, there's PowerPoint presentations. This job must suck.
Oh, Gaeta's got the worst job on the ship, right?
Yeah, and it's can we just call out a minute the fact that these are paper stands? This is poster board they're using, right? This is not a digital screen. This is not a display screen where someone types some stuff up and put it on there. There's a Kinkos on board. The Galactica.
Oh, the Kinkos is the worst job on the Galactica.
There we go.
Gaeta is the second.
Yeah. Gaeta, having to go to the Kinkos constantly, has the second worst job.
Yeah. And then third is Commander Adama's maid, who has to clean up his quarters.
Yeah. For sure. Just a space Kinkos.
Space Kinkos. So Tyrell's team does find evidence of explosives.
Yeah. It is bad news. Callie's looking around. She finds some. And the chief kind of quickly covers for Sharon, I feel like, here. He's just well, stuff happens. Not pointing any fingers, despite, he has to know, right? There has to be a part of him inside that goes, okay, so I talked to the Master at Arms. There's 6 explosives missing. There were 5 to 6 explosions in here. Or does he only find evidence of 5 and says 6 so that it matches?
Yeah.
Right?
That's a great question. Because she still has a bomb at the end.
Yeah.
At the end of this. And I'm thinking that is not a new... She didn't go back and get a new bomb, No,
it's the one from the ship at the end.
Yeah.
So... It's how much do we implicate Tyrell here? How much of this covering?
He's definitely stupid. I mean, is it stupid or is it Cylon? This is a new question for me. My old forensic accounting professor used to say that the first question you have to ask in any forensic accounting investigation is it fraud or is it stupid? And so, Tyrell, the question is it Cylon or is it stupid? Is he just so enamored with this woman that he can't possibly face the possibility of her being a Cylon? Or is he also somehow in this?
Yeah, it's hard to say exactly where that line is, and that's very much on purpose.
I wonder how much we're going to be asking ourselves. Is it stupid or is it Cylon?
Well, I know. So I will be staring blankly as you ask.
It's going to be a lot, though,
yeah,
right?
For sure.
It's going to be a lot.
Yeah. I would say it's the crux of the show for at least especially these first 2 seasons. Yeah. As more of these Cylon identities are revealed over the course of the show, less of that becomes an option, but just statistically speaking.
Yeah.
But it's definitely something that will be brought up often. Enough where we should get a drop. Is it stupid or is it Cylon?
Yeah. We'll have to put something together. We'll figure it out.
Ty is going over the likely sources of water here. Lee is sending scout ships out to check areas. The chances of finding water are not good. And while we're talking about problems, food, also a problem. Baltar reads
Great.
off the food estimates, and Lee's all like, oh, is that for like a month? And he's all like, bro, that's a week.
Yeah. Oh, no. Like, and you have to wonder, some of these smaller ships, how much food were they actually carrying? Like, as this all went down. I know it's only been 3 days at this point, and people probably have had low appetites because they're, like, processing a lot.
Yeah.
But yeah, in a short amount of time, this is going to be a big deal.
Mm-hmm. Back on Caprica, the Sharon takes Hilo to the Raptor, but it's surrounded by Centurions. Is this where they first call him a toaster, by the way?
It's the first time I think I've heard it called a toaster. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's pretty funny.
I mean, it's pretty funny. It's also racist. I haven't decided if I care or not. They do kind of look like toasters.
Yeah. With the like domey head thing going on.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm sure that's a joke reference to that. Like,
yeah,
the domed head.
Mm-hmm.
But
it is definitely used as a slur the longer the show goes on. Tyrell presents at the worst power pint party ever that 5, maybe 6 blasts occurred, and with what is known to be missing, possibly 1 device is unaccounted for.
Possibly. Lots of like obfuscating and like hedging in this discussion, and I don't like it.
Mm-hmm. They dismiss most of the people as Adama's all like, so there's obviously a Cylon on board.
Yeah. Adama's ready to say it. What we're all thinking.
Mm-hmm. They ask Baltar about his screening status, to which he daydreams with 6PT and gets Gaeta assigned to him for his troubles.
Yeah. So she asks him specifically, like, when he started lying to women. And that was when I went, oh. So he didn't have a process. He just made some bullshit up and threw that guy off of the Galactica.
Yep, 100%.
Just wild. And the fact that he was right. I'm just, I guess maybe, you know, he's had some good intuition about the whole thing.
I mean, like, if the question is Gaius Baltar actually a genius? The answer is definitively yes. He is a bullshitter. He is self-interested. He is a terrible piece of shit. But he is also probably the smartest human alive. And he was probably...
What a disappointment.
I mean, he was probably one of the smartest humans alive before the show started and everything went down. And he more than likely definitively is, without getting into anything else. He's definitely a very, very smart dude. So is it that he just intuited, as you suggest, and knew? Is it this person was a problem and this was his way of solving a problem and he was lucky? Is this the machinations of the Cylon monotheistic god? Is this a Cylon chip in his brain giving him visions of 6, pointing him and telling him things subconsciously? These are all possible answers to this question. And we can't say for certain right now.
Right.
Or
it kind of seems
ever,
like
I
this.
don't know if we ever actually get an answer on that one.
Yeah. It kind of seems like the presence of 6, whether 6 is an actual chip or an actual imprint of 6, or just something his mind has made up in a panic to process some things, had something to do with it. Whether or not it's natural of origin and completely, you know, benevolent and helpful, don't know.
Yeah.
But yeah, he's supposed to find a real Cylon detection method, which, it's, I don't think we're going to get that. That doesn't seem like something we could actually develop in this show. because then you should just roll it out to every single ship and you find all your Cylons and a big source of conflict is just all gone, right? So
I won't say anything here.
I don't think we can get it, or if we get it, it's not actually going to work, or it's not actually 100%, or there's going to be a problem, but we can't get a foolproof Cylon detection method.
I mean, for the sake of the plot, it would seem like something that would kind of put a damper on the tension.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. If we ever get it, it seems like we won't get it early. You can't destroy your show that way.
The premise of your show. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. So Boomer is pleading with Tyrell to believe her. And I just want to shake them both. And for some reason, Adama and Roslin are in his quarters, I guess.
They're talking.
Having a meeting, talking books. Adama goes to wash his hands and then refrains. Nice to know that it's not rules for thee and not for me with Adama.
Yeah. He gives her a book. He knows the rules. You don't lend books, you give them.
Smart. Adama has met me.
I'm the same way. I will, if I really enjoy a book that I want to lend to someone, I will make a point of going out and buying an extra copy.
Mm-hmm.
I've done that a number of times. The only instance where lending books is an actual lend is like RPG tomes. Like you're building a character, you need a different thing from the player's handbook or something. You need one of the aux books. Those don't count.
That makes sense.
Everything else, though.
Yeah.
You gift books.
Yeah. I have a lot of books that were lent to me that never should have been trusted to me.
I've had to buy copies of books like that before because I lent them to people and I should have just known, but I do now.
Yeah. It's not an intentional malfeasance. It just things just happen.
Well, and I think it's part of the nature of how you consume the medium, right? Because if you are a reader, if you're someone who's going to want to read a book and because you're borrowing it with the intention of reading it, right? You're probably also already reading something else, which means you're borrowing it knowing that you're not going to read it immediately. And the person who's lending it to you, presumably also a reader, understands this cycle. So it's you will get to this when you get to it and you will read it then. Not I'm expecting you to pick up this book the day after I hand it to you.
Right. Unless you have the organized structure of a library. It's different. Yeah.
For sure. Starbuck runs a poker table. Gaius puts up some clothes on the table instead of cash.
I hate Gaius Baltar so much.
Yeah.
Yeah, he ditches Gaeta too. He's like, oh, I know we're supposed to be working, but I'm going to do this poker game now. Bye.
Mm-hmm. We go back to Adama and Roslin. Adama refuses to turn the military into the police here.
When the military becomes both, then the enemies of the state tend to become the people.
Aaron, actually, could you play that again for the people in back?
When the military becomes both, then the enemies of the state tend to become the people.
Yeah, Roslyn has a problem in that there's been water riots on a cruise ship. And there's no immediate police force to assist with that.
Yeah.
And Adama is very nervous about having his military get involved with that. Rightly so, but I don't see how Roslyn really has a choice right now either. She can't just put together a police force out of nothing. I think that untrained civilians being gung-ho about all of a sudden taking a police force role is also dangerous in a different way.
Mm-hmm. For sure.
You can't do a police force without a plan, period. Need a plan. And people who are trained in it.
Mm-hmm.
Don't know how many we have in the 40-something thousand that are left.
Not a ton, which is why he acquiesces a little to help try and prevent riots. But that will be another problem another day. Boomer and Crashdown are searching for water, and the audience is made aware of the presence of the last bomb. It's on the Raptor.
Bomb.
Hey, guess what? I didn't realize at this point that bomb was actually with her. I don't know why. Maybe it was in the cutting and maybe I wasn't looking close enough.
Mm-hmm.
I thought she was just having intrusive thoughts about the bombs that she planted earlier.
Hmm.
And that she just like couldn't, she was having some kind of like break between her like conscious memory and the unconscious memory, and something was coming to the surface, and she was like having existential crisis over remembering these bombs and like seeing these bombs. And it was not until like the very end that I realized it was an actual bomb on board with her. And she's like actually touching it, isn't she?
Yeah.
I just thought it was intrusive thoughts. And this is the point when I realized that Boomer at the beginning was Boomer. I had thought up until this point that it was Sharon on Caprica. Like, that's how confusing this show is going to be for me, apparently.
Oh, no.
I'll probably get better at it. Practice.
I'm sure.
Practice makes perfect.
Back at poker, Gaius runs the table over Starbuck, leaving her out of sorts. These are different weird space cards than the pilot, the miniseries, by the way.
Oh, we had to revamp the space cards?
So
that's fun.
We've got 2 sets of space cards now, which is just a blast. Love me.
These are a little
weird
more
space
like
cards.
almost circular, right? Like,
yeah, they're a different shape. The other ones had like weird little, like besides just the corner cutouts, they had like other little like side things that I can't imagine serve any practical purpose.
Yeah.
But
these were more like hexagonal or something. I'm said circular, but that's not what I meant. They were just rounder, like, than our playing cards are very rectangular.
Mm-hmm. No water is to be found, as they're reporting in CIC. Only Boomer and Crashdown are left. And Boomer, we see on her screen that she is finding water, but she is unable to communicate that she has found water to Crashdown.
Yeah, she actually says, I'm having a hard time saying it at one point.
Yeah.
Like, she's trying to make the words with her mouth and nothing is happening.
Mm-hmm. That lends credence to how unaware she is.
Mm-hmm.
For sure. She has a really hard time, yeah.
And she's also like fingering the bomb at this time, right?
Yeah.
Like it's like a safety system or something is going, oh, we just need to blow ourselves up because you're going to say it.
You're going to save the day, so you should just blow yourself up.
Yeah.
Yep.
And I'm really mad at Crashdown here because, like, just get up from your goddamn screen and look at her goddamn screen. Like, stop being such a lazy bitch.
You're not wrong.
She said she's having a hard time saying it. Maybe you should look at it.
Mm-hmm.
Dipshit. So mad.
She eventually cuts through, says something aloud, calls in the discovery of water here. And at this point, she finally becomes aware of the bomb in a manner that allows her to turn it off.
Yeah. So interesting. That's why I'm riding on the, like, Boomer doesn't know theory right now.
Yeah.
I don't know enough about Sharon on Caprica, but it kind of seems like maybe Sharon doesn't either. I don't know. We'll see.
I would agree that Boomer doesn't know. I think that's made.
You feel like that's a strong theory?
Well, I don't think it's a theory. It's
Okay.
It's pretty apparent the way that this episode is written and structured that Boomer doesn't know.
Yeah.
I would just be apprehensive of applying that logic to all Sharons.
To all Sharons. Yeah. And I think it seems like it's designed. This episode is designed right now because it's led us pretty hard to the Boomer doesn't know, that it's making you, it's like, oh, should you apply this logic to Sharon? Maybe. I don't know. Like, it's not trying to give us too many answers on that yet.
Yeah.
And speaking of Sharon, we have Hilo and Sharon back on Caprica eating in the rain.
Yeah.
Lots of rain. I guess this is a nuclear fallout effect, perhaps, right?
Yeah. That's
or we're supposed to think it is. I don't know about real nuclear fallout, but yeah. He asks her why she came back, and she says she just couldn't leave him behind. And then Hilo's walkie-talkie lights up, and they're getting like military signals. So somewhere on Caprica, we still have some other military personnel, is what we're supposed to believe.
There's something else going on. Yeah. Something is on the planet still. Did they tell us what happened with all those other civilians he stayed with
No.
in the
No.
miniseries?
Nope. I mean, we just pretty much come back on. We get
Him
a little bit of
he's
him in
running.
33, right?
Yeah.
He's just running. It seems like maybe he was trying to create a diversion because he had actual like weapons and stuff.
Mm.
Like you wouldn't want to keep if you were like if you could actually threaten the enemy, like maybe you wouldn't want to be around the helpless people. So
Yeah.
lead them astray.
Huh. I just thought about that.
Yeah.
Anyways,
I hope that's it.
Boomer sends the chief to check her seat, and he finds the bomb there.
And that's where I realized it was a real bomb.
Yeah. Lee and Rosalind just kind of talk over last episode. She offers Lee a role within the government side of things as her advisor on the military. Not her advisor to the military, but her advisor on, like, military procedure and shit.
Yeah. Like, you understood what your dad was doing with all this pomp and circumstance when I was just being kind of annoyed. So maybe I need someone like you to tell me, like, hey, here's the things that might be important to us in this situation.
Mm-hmm. Why would you do this? This is why.
She tells him a little story about the old president, and he had to send the military in or police action in to some terrorist thing or something.
Mm-hmm.
And I think maybe it was a small number, I think, that she named as they were killed. There was like 8 of them or something.
Yeah.
And he had to carry around their names.
Yeah.
To remind himself of the stakes and the consequences. And like, you will probably never know 100% sure if you were right when you take an action.
Mm-hmm.
And it's important to keep thinking about that and not to just toss it aside.
100%. You have to keep these things in mind. You know, you have to learn from your mistakes. This is the accountability that Lee was looking for from his father that he did not see.
Yeah. So Rosalind is still thinking about that.
Mm-hmm.
Not that Adama is wrong either, but there's something more satisfying about Rosalind's answer.
For sure. Well, it should be. It's good that it's more satisfying.
Yeah. Everybody's doing their best at this point, at least in the series, I think. But Rosalind is still connected to some more traditional ethics, I guess.
Yeah, for sure. Tyrell tells Boomer he returned the bomb, and she does this like weird robot walk thing to end credits.
Yeah.
I don't know how else to describe this.
She goes full robot.
Mm-hmm.
It does support the like split personality of Boomer.
Mm-hmm.
Like she is not 100% connected to herself. So what a cliffhanger too.
Yeah.
Like every moment. There's a resolution in this episode, but then there's also like, oh no, what about next time?
Mm-hmm.
It's very exciting.
Yeah. You know what else is very exciting?
A scale where we rate things.
Yes. How do you feel about this on a scale of 1 to 12 colonies?
I think I've given everything 12 and above so far, right?
You have.
And I'm still excited about it. I'm still like, it was very compelling. I was worried about the water issue. Maybe I'll bump this one down to maybe a 10.
Okay.
Because of the confusion that I experienced. On the one hand, the confusion is confusing, but on the other hand, I think it is a good sign of a well-written episode in that I had to think about it a little harder. It didn't lead me to everything, you know?
Yeah, it's not just giving you the answers.
Mm-hmm.
No, that's solid. I was going to give it an 8. I like this episode. It's above average, but nothing particularly special in the grand scheme of the show.
Yeah, okay.
All right. Well, we got another one next week, an infamous episode.
I was going to say, I feel like I've heard about Battlestar Galactica Bastille Day.
I've seen it on like the list of the top 10 episodes of the show.
Huh. Okay.
It also introduces one of the show's more interesting characters who is
Oh.
played by someone from the original Battlestar Galactica. It's the
Oh,
first
interesting.
actor they bring back, but the role is very different.
Okay.
Playing a character you'll meet next week named Tom Zarek. So we get season 1, episode 3, Bastille Day. We're going to be joined from Scott from Gray 17 and the new Deep Space Nine podcast, especially The Lies, which I'm going to make an extra point of calling out because I believe it either drops the same day as this episode or the day after
neat.
this episode. I'm not sure if it's the first or the second when that drops, but a handful of the Gray 17 crew. And actually, we got to pick episodes to be on for that.
Oh, yay. I'm excited.
Yeah, so we'll talk about that with Scott when we record the next episode.
Sure.
But while I remember, go check out Especially the Lies if you're interested in a Deep Space Nine podcast. I believe it's in the same format as Gray 17 if you listen to that show, which if you haven't, go listen to that if you want some Babylon 5 coverage. Gray 17 is an excellent podcast. They have a bunch of people who have seen the show, a bunch of people who have never seen the show, and then they talk about the show with everyone. Then they kick all of the newbies out and talk about its implications as part of the broader story arc. It's a fun podcast, great listen. Go give it a shot if you haven't, and Especially the Lies is going to be following that same format. So go ahead and give them a listen when they drop either today or tomorrow, or if you're not listening to this on release day, whenever you're listening to this. If you're looking for a Deep Space Nine podcast, I couldn't recommend the folks over there more. It's always a good listen.
Excellent, good people over at Gray 17 and Especially the Lies. And their format boggles my mind a little bit because I have such a hard time picturing people who haven't seen Deep Space Nine.
Yeah.
But yeah, great show.
I don't have any insider information on that one. I haven't talked to Scott about it at all. But I'm looking forward to it dropping because they're covering something that I'm not podcasting about or not about to podcast about, so I can actually fucking listen to the podcast.
Would love to, yeah.
So our episode description for Bastille Day, Lee Adama tries to persuade the Astral Queen, a prison ship, to help pump water onto Galactica. Once on board, however, the prisoners have different plans.
Oh, no. Scary.
Talking
Exciting.
about prison labor.
Whew. All right. Heavy topic. Let's go.
Yeah. But we'll be back with that next week. Until then, we, of course, have to say a couple of thank yous. Hey, Jeremy Siegel, the Jeremy Siegel, the only Jeremy Siegel we care about on Bandcamp, Jeremy Siegel 42. Thanks so much for our theme music. Appreciate the hell out of it. You can find more of Jeremy's work at the aforementioned Bandcamp or on streaming services as Nuclear Jaguar. And then I think he just started recording with one of the bands he's in, too. I think I saw some Facebook posts about that. So I believe that was the Savants, is that band? He's in a few right now. So I don't know if they've got anything else published, but go give them a try, too.
Yeah. And thank you to Angry Duck Time Machine on Instagram for our podcast artwork.
Made your work for this one, Aaron. Appreciate it. Thank you for editing the podcast and making me sound like a competent human being.
Hey, and thanks, listener, for being here with us. We got some cool feedback today in the Discord about how hard the Discord is to find. So we're going to make it easier, hopefully by the next time you hear this.
I've already updated the website where if you listen to it on Captivate, it now has the link at the very top. So
yes. So better in the website and then maybe in your episode descriptions. We're trying to figure that out because it's a little different to get a link on there.
we hope you join us on the Discord. And if you can't find it, just shoot us an email, whoareyub5@gmail.com. It's also in our episode description and all of our other social media. And we'll see you next week, Internet.
Bye.
Bye.